Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Northern Ireland 5K Road Race Championships here in Coleraine at the University of Ulster. And I'm pleased to have with me the first citizen, the Mayor of the Causeway Coast and Glens, a man who I know very well. And Ivor Wallace, good evening, how are you?
I'm very well on this beautiful evening in Coleraine. It's just fabulous, and there's some buzz about this place tonight, isn't there?
There really is, Ivor. We've got the Northern Ireland Championships, men and women. We've got over 400 fabulous athletes. We had the children's race earlier, and we're now going to get serious. We're now going to get really serious. Now, everybody thinks being a mayor's easy, Ivor. How many gigs have you been at today? How many functions have you done today?
This is number 6 today.
This is number 6. Unbelievable, Ivor. So here you, hopefully this is your last.
And I'm still smiling.
Still smiling. You're all. I've never seen you without a smile, Mr. Mayor. So is this your last gig of the evening? Because if so, you're going to end on a high.
Yeah, this is my last gig of the evening, and I mean, it's so exciting to see, because there's people running about here, and I was thinking they were racing, but they're only warming up, you know.
I know.
They're going faster than I could go in my white satin Berlingo.
I know, it's just fantastic. Well, let me explain what was going to happen here, Mr. Mayor, in the next 7:45 precisely. We're having the ladies, and they go off, and they go with men who allegedly can run between 17 and 21 minutes for the 5K, which is not bad for 3.1 miles. And then later on at 8:15, we have the new young superstar of Irish and Northern Irish and British athletics, a guy called Nick Griggs, and he can run the mile in 3 minutes 56 at the age of 16. So that's not bad going. But Mr. Mayor, I'm sure it's great as part of the council and as a representative of the council to have an event of this prestige in your bailiwick, in your area, because don't tell anybody in Belfast, they normally get this. And Ryan Galway has done such hard work to bring it up here. So it's nice maybe to get one over in Belfast occasionally.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations to Ryan, because, you know, from what I've heard here tonight, he has done a fantastic job. And last year he brought the race here, and this year has brought the big one here. Yeah. And it is just a lot of credit to Ryan and to others. I mean, there's stewards about all around the course, and it couldn't be run without all those people. So, you know, a really big thank you to them. And on behalf of the borough, a big thank you to Ryan and his team, because, I mean, this is just so good.
Mr. Mayor, thank you so much, and we'll see you on the podium later on this evening. And hopefully now, if we can manage to either to grab Ryan Galway or Anne Paul, Anne, come on over here. Are we okay, guys? I'm delighted to have with us here this evening the one and only Miss Anne Paul, University of Ulster, just back from warm weather training in Gran Canaria. And I'm sure you're delighted to have these prestigious championships on your doorstep here in the University of Ulster.
Yes, I have to say the university are delighted to be able to host the Northern Ireland 5K Championships here tonight, and we're just extremely lucky that the weather's taken a turn for the best, and conditions are actually turning out to be really good with no wind. And going by that first race, people were already much faster than what they had expected.
Wow. Brilliant. Well, Anne, you are a former Northern Ireland cross-country champion, a Northern Ireland cross-country champion, and I well remember the time when we used to have cross-country races over about 500 metres away involving that big Savage Hill. So, it's, you know, this place is no stranger to top-class athletics.
Oh, no, absolutely. And, you know, I still meet people today, and they're a lot older, and they can tell you about the days that they came here as a child to run the cross-country course, and still talk about the hill. And we're still running the event, and the children are still running the hill, so hopefully that will continue for many years to come.
And what about this guy Nick Griggs? Is he the real deal, this 17-year-old?
Well, he's looks as if he's the full package. He's from Mid-Ulster, of course, where we've all come from. It's great to see that he's here tonight supporting the Northern Ireland Championships, and it certainly gives a boost to the other runners that they're able to come along here tonight and run and watch somebody who is achieving so much at the moment.
Fantastic, Anne, and I'm sure it brings back lots of memories for you. And just lastly, we're still with one of the tandem twins, and maybe Paris next year for the Olympics, Anne, maybe?
Oh, never say never. We're going to give it a shot. We've just been included on the long list for Paris 2024. So the qualification period opens on the 30th of June, and we're certainly going to give it our best shot.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Anne Paul, the one and only Anne Paul. 4 minutes. Let's try and get a little word with Ryan there if we can. Do you want to come this way, Pete? And look at the excitement on the start line here, folks. This is the Ladies' Championship, and as well, this is the men who run between 17 and 21 minutes. And what we want to try to do is get a little word with Ryan Galway. And if we can't get him, Scott, are you running the next one? You are here. Are you in Derry tomorrow for the 10 miler? I'll see you on the start line, young man. And so good to see. We've got Spartans here. We've got clubs from all over Northern Ireland. As we said earlier, over 400 top class athletes taking part in this championship. And it is fantastic to have athletes of this ability here. And you're going to see very shortly, folks, how this works in practice. Peter and I are going to be in the back of a car, loosely strapped in. I see Ryan Galway is about to give them the countdown. We should perhaps get in the back of the car, Peter, in the hope that John, our driver, is going to look after us. Lots of excitement here in Coleraine. We've got a drumming band around the corner. And earlier on we had the children's race. And in a couple of minutes' time, we are going to get the 3, 2, 1, and these guys are going to be on their way. Lots of excitement here. Ryan Galway is just giving them the compulsory pre-race briefing. These guys will already have read their notes and have been aware of what is to come. And if you want to... Neil?
Strap us in, Neil. Strap us in, Neil. Strap us in, Neil. Strap us in.
Lots of adrenaline here on the start line, not only for the organisers, but also for the athletes. And this is the race about to kick off at 7:45. And we can see lots of athletes limbering up on the start line over there. And there's no doubt quite a few of them will go off far too hard, as is normally the way for a race of this prestige. People do get carried away, whether it is the Armagh 5K, whether it's the park run on a Saturday morning, or whether it's this Northern Ireland 5K Championships here in Coleraine. This place has long been associated with sport. There's a wonderful sports centre which Anne Paul is in charge of, and this has hosted in the past the European Duathlon Championships, and we had the Northern Ireland Cross Country Championships here. And there's a wonderful hill on the course over there, and it's great to see running is the most primal of all sports. It's the simplest sport. That is why we have so many African runners who are fantastic at sport, and that's why the Olympics mean so much to them. The World Championships this year on the track are in Budapest in Hungary between the 19th and the 27th of August. We're down to the 22nd countdown now. And I have no doubt that quite a few of these athletes here, particularly in the men's race, will want to be taking part in the Olympics at some stage in the future. And you can practically cut the atmosphere with a knife here. We're down to seconds. 10-second countdown. Timing tonight provided by way of Championship Ireland. And 5 seconds, and it's going to be... Let's wait and see. Let's see the whites.
There we go.
And they're off. Nice and steady. These athletes have got to negotiate that first barrier where there's not an awful lot of room. And here they're coming at us fast. Rebecca Osborne is the favourite in the ladies' race. And my goodness, this car's beautiful car supplied by the... one of the sponsors, and we've got our live drumming band out there tonight, beginning to settle into a little bit of a rhythm now. Quite a few of the athletes with their Garmin and their Sunto on, having a look at their speed. There's no doubt quite a few people will go off like a scalded cat and perhaps been going too hard too early. They've got to settle down. It's about 3.8 laps here. Each lap is a little bit more than a kilometre with very little altitude gain. Perfect conditions. Best temperature to run in is 12 degrees centigrade. Best temperature to ride a bike, 19 centigrade. Tonight, we're nowhere near those dizzy heights. We're down to about 2 degrees. This time last night, we had ice and we had snow. And Ryan Galway, the event organiser, was really good and constantly put out information during the day on the condition of the course. And he put up videos which reassured people that there were no ice and no snow and that people could safely make the drive up to Coleraine here. As we said earlier, these championships are normally held in Belfast. Oh, now we've got a breakaway of 3. We've got 2 men and 1 woman, and they mean business. I'm trying to think of the mindset of the guys here. Obviously they want to win the race. They are not in the prestigious one, which is the sub 17 minutes race later on. And I would really love our leading woman to beat them, I must confess. I would like her to be first over the finish line. And we will see how she gets on, because quite a few people, as we were saying, do get carried away, go off too hard. This guy leading is in a vest. He thinks it's handy enough, and he's going to be plenty warm. He's going to be working hard. Sometimes when there's a lot of cold air, it's quite difficult for the lungs to cope with that. We've got some live disco music there as well, and a real buzz here. This is not your normal Friday night students' university. We're here in the North Coast. Most of the students here are accommodated in Port Stewart and Portrush, and the University of Ulster it's also in Jordanstown, it's also in Magee and Derry, and it's got a wonderful campus here in Coleraine. And we're now settling down into a rhythm, both John, our driver, and these 3 athletes as well. Lots of applause here from the spectators on a very cold night. Now, I wonder, will anyone later on get anywhere near the course records? There's a nice £150 bonus if anybody breaks the course record, which is 16:46. For the women, and it is 14:26 for the men. Great crowd there tonight, and it's always a great idea if you have several races. Your athletes who have taken part in the earlier races are able to stay on for another 10 minutes and watch in awe and amazement and wonder at the sheer speed. Oh, this is good, this young lady's hitting the front. That's just so good to see. We've already gone through the finish line. We're about to come up, not a million miles away from the start line again, and whenever they get here, they'll have 3. They had 3 laps to go from the finish line over there, so she is starting to show her class and put down a powerful performance. And these 3 have certainly separated from the rest of the bunch. There's about 150 in this race. Later on, we've got everybody who thinks they can break 17 minutes, including our young superstar Nick Griggs, and we've got a young chap who won the Armagh 3K earlier, aged 18, young man called Joe, red-headed Joe from Lagan Valley, and he'll be one to watch, certainly. I think 5K is the top end of Ryan's speciality. I think 5K is actually his weakest event. Nick, whom we'll see later on, set a new Irish under-20 record of 3 minutes 39 for 1,500 metres, the old metric mile, and broke 4 minutes for the mile in a fabulous time of 3 minutes 56 seconds. So he's only 6 seconds off the Irish all-comers outside record, and his time in respect of the 5K is 1 minute and 12 seconds outside the Irish record. So I have no doubt that I think his future probably lies somewhere between 1,500 metres and 3,000 metres. But in the meantime, this is the Women's Championship, and they are being hopefully helped and not hindered by some of these leading men who are extremely good runners. and they are all set for a 17-minute finish, something like that. Now, wouldn't it be ironical if the course record was broken in this race and not in the men's race? But we'll have to wait and see. £200 for first place, £150 for second place, £100 for third place. And so if you manage to win the race and break the course record, you're taking home £350, which even in this day and age will pay for a few tanks of diesel. And talking to the mayor earlier, he said he had more gigs on this weekend than Gary Lineker, for one reason or another. But we've got a hard-working mayor who knows the advantage of sport, and we've got our spectators here who are really getting behind our athletes here. No wind and no rain, which, as you know, in Ireland counts as wonderful weather. And this reminds me of the time when Pegasus organised the downhill mile in Coleraine on the Castle Rock Road, and some gulpin, i.e. me, was in the lead car, and we took off but forgot to take off the handbrake, and we nearly had Gary Locke and Davy Wilson in the back seat with us inside the first 100 metres. They both broke 4 minutes for the mile that day going downhill. Gary, of course, is happened to be married to Paula Radcliffe, whom I was privileged to put a medal round her neck at an event in England a couple of years ago. Two to go. And the pressure is getting up. There's 3 runners behind her getting a bit closer, and one of them is the second female. So each of these female athletes has been dragged along by 2 males, which is great to see. And obviously it reminds us of the time when Paula Radcliffe set all the records in London. And I remember being in the marathon finish line in Athens at the 2004 Olympics waiting for Paula Radcliffe. I made it, but Paula didn't. And the poor girl was coming down with injuries and one thing and another. She won world championships, she set world records, she won London. She could never win the one she wanted, i.e. the Olympics. You want to put that beautiful wreath on your head. Oh, now we've certainly got the field coming back together. This women's race is not over by a long shot. I think the group behind are getting closer, and let's hope the spectators can give them all a big round of applause here. Don't forget, we've got a title on the line, we've got an awful lot of money on the line as well. Gone are the silly old days when Northern Ireland and indeed European athletics was meant to be amateur only. These are professionals. They train professionally, they eat professionally, they live and dream and work so hard for their beloved sport. Nobody kicks a football, which is probably why it's not on the back pages, but it certainly should be. And I would love to see this young lady spring out with about 100 metres to go, particularly if the course record is on the cards. And the course record is 16:26. So let's wait and see how close she is to that at that time. There's our hard-working marshals supplied by the Springwell Club here. See Roy Buchanan, very good athlete, very keen runner. Oh, we've got a new leader who has just gone to the front, and maybe that will actually help our ladies leader, because if there's any wind, he's taking it from her. Sometimes you get the benefit in pairs running. You can share the pain, let somebody else take the pain, as it were. Let's see if her style is changing in any way whatsoever. We're coming past the drummers again. The athletes continuing to get great support here from the crowd. They're looking good. Well over halfway. Every step closer to the finish line. This is when it hurts. This is when all of the adrenaline has fled the system. And now it's a case of who wants it more. What have you got left in the tank? And to train for a 5k, you've got to be able to do 10k fairly comfortably, but you've got to do speed work. You've got to be doing 800 intervals, 400 intervals, 1k intervals, and you've got to be doing them with very little rest. This is a really hard race. It is, of course, one of the fantastic events to see on the track, both at the World Championships in Budapest. I was privileged enough to be at the Commonwealth Games, Alexander Stadium in the summer in Birmingham, and saw some of the best athletes in the world, and certainly the best ones in the Commonwealth. And British middle distance running is in a fantastic place, particularly when you've got people like Laura Muir and Janet Rieche and Eilish McColgan And then, of course, young Hodgkinson, the winner in such great style of the 800 metres last weekend, in a time of 1 minute and 57 seconds, left everybody trailing in her wake at the European Championships in Istanbul, a city still coming to terms with the appalling earthquake which hit and Syria. Now, we're going to have a very tight finish here in not too many minutes from now. And we've got a couple of guys out leading. It'll be interesting to see what times they predicted for themselves. They're certainly going to be very close. There's a Ballymena runner certainly out on the front. And this top female athlete has just got to try and latch onto the top of those three guys and let them propel her towards the relief, the joy of the finish line. And it'll be interesting to see what her PB is and whether she's got a chance of managing to break that PB. Athletes are incredibly greedy. Every time we do a run, we want a PB. And you have to appreciate as an athlete as you get older, and particularly when you hit a case of TMB, too many birthdays, the PBs just don't come anymore. It's more a case of PWs, personal worsts. But I always say you should reset the clock. Sonia O'Sullivan, the great Sonia, whom I've had the privilege of meeting and talking to live on air, said that after you get to the age of 40, your 10K should be your age. That's what you. So if you're 41, you want to break 41 minutes for a 10K. Etc. So that is your ambition, and that's why so many of us go to the Joe Seeley 10K on the Ormo embankment, which may or may not be about to be turned upside down by Belfast City Council and the Department of Infrastructure, because there are plans afoot to make that a beautiful garden utopia, and we'll have to wait and see how that will affect the Joe Seeley. And we've just been told we've got another lap to go, so we're going to have to have a quick switcheroo, and we'll somehow get in front of them again. This is great to get a different angle of the athletes from this side. We might be able to see them side on actually as we pass them. And here come the rest of the athletes, and they've been dropped without a shadow of a doubt. And these are the athletes still going for a good time. But it's a beautiful night tonight in Coleraine. I know it's cold, but athletes will not feel that. They've got their inner furnace, but as soon as the race is over, they'll have a really hard job trying to keep warm, because their entire body and all of their energy systems will have been used in trying to propel them forward at their maximum pace. And but time to worry about that is later on. The only thing these guys want now is to get to the finish line and have the prestige of winning this race and being first over the line. That seems to be 4K done and dusted, and they're in the last 1,000 metres. That's 2.5 laps of your local tartan track. And I did mean to ask the mayor, when are we going to get a tartan track somewhere in the Causeway Coast and Glens, because between Greysteel in the west and Ballycastle in the east, we are at a dearth of tracks. There are more 50-metre swimming pools and tartan tracks in Sydney than there are in the British Isles, but that's because Australians value sport, and if we want to place a premium on physical health and mental health, we need to provide facilities both for the elite and for the average Joe and the average Mary, who benefit so much from this. And this is going to be a fast finish between these two. They know it's slightly downhill here. There's only an elevation gain of literally about 30 feet on the entire course, so it's as flat as a pancake, and it will not be too long before we see them come up to the finish line here, and it remains to be seen if anybody's got a kick. I always remember the days of Seb Cohen, Steve Ovett and Steve Cram, and I've had the privilege of interviewing Steve Cram and talking to him, sharing some time with him at a few events. And Steve was, all these guys had a kick. And what I love about these top class athletes, and we're going to see it in the next race, is that when they're fully going, their stride is well over 1 metre, and they're practically kicking their bum with every stride, and sometimes you get them with both feet in the air. Not so much in this race, but we will see it in the next race. And we're not a million miles away. Now we've got Ballymena runners out front, and he's there, he's got a target on his back, and the athlete in second place is looking at his Garmin to see what pace he's going. He doesn't want to be looking at his watch at this time. This is about heart. This is about hunger. This is about desire. And he knows that guy in front is given absolutely everything, and it's a case of whether or not he can follow him, and whether or not he can get up to his shoulder, and then whether or not he can blow him away. But the guy from Ballymena looks strong. He is looking very confident, and he hasn't looked over his shoulder. Here's Anne Paul running down towards the finish line to greet our athletes as they come across the line. And he's stretching it. This guy from Ballymena is certainly stretching it. And it won't be too long before he gets up to the finish line, and he could well join us in the back of the car here very shortly. Yep, he has made the winning burst. Meanwhile, we are looking, we've got a new leader, I believe, in the women's race. And oh my goodness, she has come out of the crowd and she has struck like a panther, and she has made the big effort whenever it matters most. You don't need to be leading after 1k, 2k, 3k or 4k. It's all about the last 10 metres. It's all about the last metre. You want to be leading whenever you have got the whites of the finish line in sight, and this man from Ballymena is going to do it. And that leader in the women's race, who's only about 100 metres behind him, is certainly going to prove that her timing is impeccable. Great to see such a crowd out, and let's hope they give these athletes a big round of applause. They've certainly deserved it as we come through the finish line. Look at that, there he goes. Fantastic. Well done, 45. And there is our second place. And there is our ladies champion, ladies and gentlemen, wearing number 4. Sorry, here she comes. She's held on. It's number 90, and she's held on from Dromore. That is just fantastic. That is just brilliant. Well done. We're going to have a word with her in a minute. Jimmy Hislop there taking photographs. Their second place from Beachmount Harriers. And there's third place just across the line there, I believe. Keep moving, guys. Keep moving. So good to see. Now, let's get Peter here, and then we're going to have a word with our champion from Dromore. Our cameraman Peter is on the finish line here, just recording all of our finishers here, which is fantastic. An awful lot of energy being expended here. These guys have given it absolutely everything. Great to see. Hopefully we will go and have a word with our top 3 athletes very shortly. Absolutely everything has been expended here by our athletes. Mr. Mayor is with me. I know we've got no camera on us, Ivor, but what do you think of that?
Oh, that was fabulous. That was really exciting as well as everything else, yeah. And I mean, those fellas are coming in there, a lot of them not even out of breath. You know, I'm out of breath watching them.
Ivor, if they would have a heart rate monitor on, and their heart rate will be going about 180, even though they look calm, but they're like a duck paddling underneath the surface. So these aren't even the fast guys, Ivor. Believe it or not, we've got faster people still to come.
And I mean, there was a wee fella there, and he was maybe in the first 10 or 12, and he looked about 14, you know. Just fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
Well, we're about to crown our Northern Ireland champions, Ivor, so hopefully you'll help us on the podium very shortly. And whenever we get our cameraman Peter from East Down YouTube, this is we're privileged to be streaming to you live this evening. There's a Springwell athlete coming across the line. Well done. All of these guys should be close to 17 minutes. And it's great to have the women's championship here. And we've got about 15 minutes now before we have our men's race. And we're going to see lots of athletes warming up for that.
Keep walking forward. Keep walking forward.
Well done, guys. Well done, Poppy. Well done. Poppy Hastings there from Mid-Ulster.
Well done. Keep going.
Well done, Hannah Shields, the one and only Hannah Shields finishing there. Hannah is going to do the Derry 10 miler tomorrow morning, and she's warming up with a 5k. She was in Gran Canaria travelling as well. Peter, should we go and talk to our winner? This is what commitment means. That young lady's climbed to the top of Everest and been to the North Pole, and she still gives everything in a 5K. Unbelievable. We're going to come down here and we are going to try and find our female winner wearing number 90. Hi, Alison. Now, all the fun of the fair here as our athletes are churned out of the way of the finish line because we do not want a chip going over the finish line twice. That leads to great confusion. And these guys are all very pleased with their efforts. And what we're going to try and do, there's young Eddie, what we're going to try and do is find our winning athlete, who was wearing number 90, and she is the Northern Ireland champion. That young lady, I think, was third. Could I have a word with you, ladies? Come on over here and talk to us, please. We're going to be live on YouTube. Have we any idea? Were you third? Are you aware of that?
No,
you were.
I think I was third.
You were third. What's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Helen Davry from Beachside Harriers of Belfast.
It's great to have you here. Did you enjoy that race?
Enjoy maybe is the wrong word. It was hard, but it's good to get a nice night, a nice camp still night. So.
And you're going to be on the podium of the Northern Ireland Championships. How good does that feel?
Yeah, really good. Making my sister proud. She's over in Loughborough at the minute, running the cross country tomorrow. So shout out to her.
And you're taking home 150 quid probably. That'll help the journey home.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe a McDonald's on the way.
Great. Who have we got here? What's your name?
Kate Mulholland from St Peters.
Good to have you here, Kate. And
Orla McCavanagh, also from St Peters.
now tell me this, girls. Do we have any PBs between us? Any personal bests?
Yeah, we had a PB tonight, yeah.
What did you get?
1744.
1744 and?
1816.
That is fantastic. And were you conscious of your heart rate during that race? Did you have on a heart monitor?
No, I just run off effort. I don't even look at my watch.
You're quite right, because the heart monitor would have been telling you to slow down. Well done, girls. Congratulations. Let's try and have a word here. As our athletes here managed to get one of our drinks from our sponsors. Can I have a word with this good man here? This is Mr. John Butcher, who last week ran 100 miles in 4 days, 4 miles every 4 hours. John, you're going from 100 miles down to 5K.
Yeah.
Which was harder?
That was much harder, Peter. I ran 18 miles this morning, but a PB there today. I'm absolutely delighted.
No, your PB was about 1946. John, tonight, what did you hit?
1915, 1916, something like that.
And tonight?
1915.
That's fantastic, John. You've taken 30 seconds off it. How on earth can you go from 4 marathons down to that distance, John? What's the secret?
I think it's you just don't think about it, Peter. It's over so quickly, so just get it over and done with.
And you're doing your 99th marathon in Belfast?
That's right, 30th of April, so looking forward to that.
Right, and your 100th is where, John?
In Greece, going to the original marathon back in Greece in November.
I hope that you are a lot better than the first guy who did that when you crossed the finish line. John, well done, John Butcher. Let's keep going this way, Peter, and see who we can manage to talk. There is Ryan and Eddie from Springwell. Good to have you here, boys. Good to have you here. Good to see you. Let's talk to this young man here. Can you talk to me, young man? Which race did you do tonight?
That one there, the middle one.
Oh, fantastic. What was your time?
18:27.
Is that a PB?
Yeah.
Of course it is. Is this a proud dad here? Are you a friend or relative?
Yes, father.
Well, that is fantastic. Did you pick your parents well, by the way?
Yeah.
You've got talent. You got your genes from him, so well done. What's your name?
Robin.
We're going to see a lot more of you, Robin. Well done. Congratulations. We are still looking for our winner. If we can try and track her down. Alistair Bratton might be able to find our winner. Alistair, can you try and track us down the winner, number 90? Yeah. She's managed to escape. We've got a... Okay, folks, we're going to come back to you. We're going to come back to you very shortly. Let's see if we've got... Okay, we're going to come back to you very shortly with the podium, folks, okay? There's our winner. There is our winner. Yeah. Let's see if we can have a word with her. Rebecca, can we talk to you? We're going to be live on YouTube here. Rebecca Osborne wearing number 90. Congratulations, champ.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I just found out that I won because apparently it came right down to the line.
Oh.
I didn't realise Kira was right on my shoulder.
Oh, fantastic. Were you not looking round, Rebecca?
No, I was just running through the line. I was trying to go for a time today, but it didn't come together like that. So I was just giving everything I had left. So
Rebecca, would it be fair to say you probably went out a little bit too hard?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, went through the first K and it's like 3:11, and I knew at that point, like, I'm going to pay for this, but hang on for as long as I can. And
Rebecca, there's also a 150 cash bonus for a course record. So what was your time tonight?
Oh no, it was like 17:30. It was
next year.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm in like sub 17 shape, that's what I was hoping for tonight, but I misjudged the pace. I should have maybe looked at my watch a bit more because it was like 17 to 21. Like the race, I was kind of hoping the front would kind of be around.
Rebecca, tell me this: did it help or hinder the fact you had guys beside you?
Yeah, it helped. Yeah, like company, it always helps. Yeah, because it would have been a lot harder doing that on my own. But
Rebecca, we are going to go. We'll see you on the podium later. Well done, Rebecca Osborne. And we are going to get back in the car here, and we are going to go round to the start of our championship race, the second one. Well done, Rebecca. Rebecca had been the pre-race favourite. Thank you very much indeed, Neil, for looking after us here. And we've got to do one quick circuit of the university course here. We are good to go. And our driver, John, will not be... he won't have to obey the speed limit on this lap because he knows that the whistle has already sounded to get our athletes gathered for the next race. This is a very busy night for Ryan Galway, the hard-working race organiser who has put this race together, has been working on it for the last year, brought together lots of sponsors, including Roadside Motors and Malin McCormick Solicitors, and hopefully we'll be able to have a chat with Joe Malin, the principal in the firm of Malin McCormick. And Joe's a very good athlete himself, triathlete, and has a very good 70.3 half Ironman time to his name. Well, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are in for a real treat. We are only moments away from the start of the 5K Men's Championship. Pre-race favourite Rebecca Osborne won her race, and we're now looking for young Nick Griggs, whose race number, I think 136 or something like that. He is from Mid-Ulster Athletic Club, and he has an astonishing array of race wins to his name and some amazing times. His PB for 3K is 8 minutes 11. His PB for 5K is 14:15, and the course record here is 14:26. And Ryan, could I have a word with you, Ryan? Just
we'll start in 90 seconds.
Okay, we'll start afterwards, Ryan. Thank you very much. That is Ryan. Oh my goodness. There's not much. There's more fat in a butcher's dog here, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot of lean, mean and keen runners. We are 1 minute away from the start. And I always like asking athletes if we had a microphone system to A, wish them good luck, and B, tell them to turn around and shake hands with their rivals, because at the end of the day we have to respect each other, respect the course, respect the traditions of this race. We're down to the last 30 seconds, and after that we are going to have a very quick start, and we'll very shortly see the cream rise to the top without a shadow of a doubt. We are in for a real treat here this evening. Now, the Irish record for 5K is 13:03 from Mark Carroll. 40 years. That record is 40 years old, which is amazing. But young Nick Griggs here tonight is more of a 1,500 metre specialist, but he certainly wants to... We're off, ladies and gentlemen. And that barrier has been very sensibly moved. On the last occasion, quite a few of the athletes had to duck and dive underneath it. And let's see who is going to be out at the front. We've got to get up to the finish line, and then it is back round to the start line, and then it's 3 full laps in there, so it's about 3.8 laps. And that is young Griggs out to the front, ladies and gentlemen, wearing the yellow and red of Mid-Ulster. He's already laying down a marker. And if anybody wants to take this title from him, they are going to have to do it the hard way. Now, Rebecca, it was very interesting talking to her after she finished there. She admitted she went out too hard, and it's difficult not to. You get carried away on the occasion. And on paper, Nick Griggs should win this by about 15 seconds. No race has ever been won on paper. It's about what happens on the night. And even you get to the Olympics and the World Championship finals, and it's all about the shape you're in and can you execute your game plan, and do you have a plan B and a plan C. So far, young Griggs is not having this all his own way. If it boils down to a sprint finish, I would put my house on him, because he's got the kick. He's a 1500 metre runner really at heart. He set an Irish under-20 record of 3 minutes 56 for the mile indoors recently, and also very nearly won the European under-20 cross-country championships. Only had a little stumble at the end when an English athlete managed to nip past him and take the gold medal. And Nick looked fairly anguished on the finish line after that, but when you're in athletics or triathlon or any sport, you've got to take the rough with the smooth. It's not all plain sailing, and sometimes, as they say, you learn more from a defeat than you learn from a win. If you keep winning everything, you're not learning anything. Oh, what a beautiful shot there of Nick Griggs, 1:56, coming around the corner, and he's got company. He's certainly got one athlete on his toes, and that athlete behind him is getting a little bit of shelter. And Nick looks fairly unruffled. He's not looking round. He's keeping calm. He's going to run his own race. Coached originally by Barry Holmes of Mid-Ulster, and then Barry realised, as all good coaches do, that he'd taken young Nick as far as he could, and he was going to hand him on to the great Mark Kirk, a very famous Belfast miler. And Mark coaches quite a few well-known athletes, including his daughter Katie. And he was entrusted with young Nick, and he's got him down only doing 50 or 60 miles a week. And he is making sure. There's a great shot there of our leading two athletes. Getting a lot of shouts from the crowd there. And Nick was first encouraged, as all athletes are, by a good teacher. By a teacher who took care and guided him and said, "You have real talent here." And Nick went out to do the 100 metres, no good at it. Anything else in sports day, no good. But the longer the race was, the better this young man got. He's a proud product of Cookstown High School, still doing his GCSEs, probably in about 3 months' time. And unlike most of his peers, he's able to say that he has been competing in international class races throughout Europe, and taking part in European championships and fantastic races everywhere. And he's a King Gaelic player, played for his local Gaelic club until he got a hamstring injury one night, and then it was decided that the Gaelic career would have to be set aside. And this young man is a racehorse. They did physiological tests on him, and they discovered that when he's running miles at 5 minutes 20, his pulse is practically comatose. He is not straining, he is not striving, it's all under control. Everybody else was blowing a gasket to do a mile in 5 minutes 20, and young Nick was capable of doing mile after mile at that speed. Now, he certainly doesn't have this all his own way, because he's got company, and he will know, over the sound of his own breathing, he will know that there's an athlete very close behind him, and he just wants to try and break that elastic. He wants to. Now, is this other runner going to try and come up to his shoulder and try and psych him out? As these athletes begin to tick off every step towards the finish line, there's now a little gap. The athlete in second place is rocking and rolling a little bit, and maybe he's getting carried away and with too much adrenaline as well. And I think young Nick is finding his stride here, and he is starting to lay down a marker. And he's the same pace. He's like a metronome, and he is certainly not going to give up any ground. And as soon as he senses weakness, as all the top athletes do, they just begin to stretch away. And I think that is what we're seeing, folks. What an unbelievable, imperious performance there from young Griggs. We have a superstar in our midst, ladies and gentlemen. And we know that Mark Kirk will look after him very well. And we know that he's going to be well nurtured, well guided, not too much, not too soon. And there he goes. Oh my goodness, he's making that look easy. He's doing every kilometre, folks, in well under 3 minutes, which is phenomenal running. Now, I wonder will he beat the time of 14:26, which, funnily enough, Alex Yee did last Friday in the Abu Dhabi World Triathlon Series, and that's after swimming for 750 metres and riding a bike for 20k. So we have super talent in the British Isles, whether it's Nick Griggs from Cookstown or Alex Yee from East London, or whether it's Beth Potter, who won the women's race in Abu Dhabi from Scotland, or whether it's Rebecca Osborne, who admitted she went out a bit too hard at the start and was nearly caught by Ciara Toner on the finish line. That's great, getting a bit of support. Every single athlete likes home support. It encourages them, and he is literally just increasing his lead here. And the athlete in second place may well be now finding himself in oxygen debt. And that's not a good place to go when you've got 2.5k to go and your pulse is going to be about 170 or 180 beats a minute. That's not what you want. But Nick looks as if he's out for a Friday night run down to his fish and chip shop to pick up a fish and chip supper. Now he's having a look at the watch there. I wonder if he's interested either in the course record. Course record's 14:26 and Nick's time for 5k is 14:11. He got into a big high profile race last year as a 16-year-old, and he was talking to the event organiser, his coach was, in Belfast, and they said, no, this young lad can't possibly be doing that speed. So what they did, they went down to the wonderful track in mid-Ulster, and Nick did a solo 3k to show that he could do it, and the organisers realised what kind of a superstar they're dealing with, and obviously gave him an entry for the race. And this young man has not looked backwards since. A beautiful demonstration of controlled aggression, pace, power. He's picked his parents very well, obviously. He's got a great gene pool, and he has inherited fast twitch and slow twitch fibres in abundance. And it'll be interesting to see as the years go by what his favourite distance will be. Will he want to go up in distance to 10k or the half marathon? But at the end of the day, whenever 1500 metres is the blue ribbon event, folks, whether it's the Olympics, the World Championships, the Commonwealths, whatever, that's the one that counts. It's the old metric mile. A mile, as you know, 1609 metres. This is the slightly uphill bit of the course. They've come back down through the main buildings in the university. And as we know, we've got traffic-free roads tonight, which is a phenomenal, beautiful experience, whether you're a runner or whether you're a cyclist, and somebody says to you, with traffic-free, we don't have to worry about the crowd, you don't have to worry about the road, no ice, no snow, no rain, no wind. Nick Griggs, not v anybody else, Nick Griggs v himself. Nick Griggs against his most fearsome opponent, which is the watch on his wrist. Some athletes wear a couple of watches, one to tell them their heart rate, one to tell them their pace and possibly their time. He wouldn't mind going home with another 150 quid. He's certainly got the 200 quid in his back pocket of his Cookstown vest. And the only question is whether or not he's able to bring the 150 quid for the course record as well. There is Ryan Galway, the event organiser, who will be absolute. That's the first time he's glanced over his shoulder. That's the first time he just wanted to see what gap he had. And he might need a magnifying glass or a telescope very soon to find out where second and third place is. And there we've got a cyclist who's having to go fairly hard to keep up with young Nick. Well done, that cyclist, and well done, Nick. This is turning into a procession, a victory parade, and it's great, folks, that we are here at the beginning to be able to see this young man take the first of many steps onto the top of a podium. And Coleraine Northern Ireland Championships, folks, are not going to be the last time that this young man, there's the finish line there, they're not going to be the last time that this young man is going to be standing on top of a podium. He looks very composed. The mayor was telling us earlier that he thought some of the athletes in the previous race didn't look out of breath. Well, Nick is certainly not out of breath here. He is bringing all his experience to bear. He's just turned 17. He's 17 years and 3 months old. So he still has time to have a crack at the under-20 record in 4 different disciplines. That's the 1,500 metres, the mile, the 3K and the 5K, both outdoors and indoors. And those of us who are old enough to remember the great Eamon Coughlin and Ray Flynn and Marcus O'Sullivan and Mark O'Meara, as they set the world record for the 4x1 mile, and so many of our fabulous runners from down south were the chair of the boards, both in New York and in Boston, where they live for their athletics. And it comes as no surprise to find out that a lot of university coaches have been come over to Northern Ireland dangling big scholarships at Nick, at his coach Barry Holmes, at saying, oh, you come to South Carolina University and you'll get X, Y and Z, or X, Y and Z as they would say over there. And Nick has decided he's going to UCD, he's going to University College Dublin, he's going to keep his feet on the ground. And there's super 400 metre tartan tracks very close to UCD, and he'll be taking advantage of those. He'll be taking advantage of cross country, and I'm looking forward to talking to him later, just to ask him, does he ever have any time off? Is he a 52-week-a-year man? Or and there's a couple of runners by the side of the road trying to run at the same pace as Nick Griggs for 10 metres and failing miserably. This young man is poetry in motion. He is a class apart. And we can vaguely see second place, and it wouldn't surprise me if second place was actually caught, because he paid the penalty of trying to go out with the one and only Nick Griggs. Great to have him. It's been a long time since we've been able to lay claim to our homegrown, bona fide track superstar. We don't need Alf Tupper of the track here. We've got our own. He's come back from a hamstring injury. He's given up the Gaelic. And now he is absolutely putting a boot down here. Look at that. It all looks effortless. That's the sign of any good runner. He's got quite a good heel kick at the back. Nice long stride. And he's using his elbows and shoulders synchronized with his leg lift.
156. What a massive gap.
There he goes. In the previous race, it was very close. He's just looking over his shoulder there, and he has nothing to worry about. The only thing he's wanting to worry about, he's probably thinking what he's going to have for breakfast tomorrow morning, if he's allowed a lie-in by his coach, or whether he's going to go up to the Mary Peters track in Belfast maybe. And I hope his coach gives him a few days off, because sometimes when you're a great athlete, and Nick has confessed he was doing this, he was trying too hard, doing too much, not really having a structured approach. And here we are, as the applause from the crowd ring out, Nick Griggs doing a Steve Ovett, blowing kisses to the crowd, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome our Northern Ireland 5K champion, the one and only Nick Griggs. Let's see if we can have a word with Nick here very shortly. Brilliant work. He has got plenty of time to have a lie down in a dark room if he so wanted. Let's have a look here. Peter, are we okay to try and have a word with him?
Nick, there's a bush over there about that 9 times.
Nick, could we talk to you, Nick? Would that be okay? Nick, sorry, could you come up here, because we're going to try and catch everyone. There's second place there. Well done. Congratulations. There's third place. Nick, that's our camera, but let's have a word off air here. First of all, Nick, many congratulations.
Cheers, thanks very much. Thank you.
What was your time?
I don't know. My watch started a bit late. have 14:01 there, but it's probably like 14:05.
Wow. He got, okay, sorry. Okay, I've been told we've got to move down this way. Nick, so possibly you had an unofficial time of 14:01?
Nah, it'd be a bit slower than that. My watch didn't start at the start, so probably like 14:06 maybe.
14:06. I certainly. Well, your PB before tonight was
I don't know what it was.
Nick, your PB tonight before tonight was 14:11. So I think you've got a PB. You've got to be happy with that.
Yeah, nah. I came out there. Callum Morgan, to be fair to him, tried going with me, but cherry out before he reaches that level. Nah, I'm joking. I went off and don't know if I can say this, but I nearly go to the toilet quite badly for like 2 laps, and I was just trying to I was just trying not to, let that affect me and stay focused and keep driving the line. So I was just holding on for the win, get a solid run out here and get ready for track. Yeah.
Fantastic, Nick. Is that your last road race of the season before you now concentrate on the track?
Yeah. Will be, unless I run Queens, but I'm not sure I'll run Queens 5k, but you never know, I might do. But I think that'll be it now until Irish Miles in May. Yeah.
Well, Nick, can I ask you, because we're all conscious of your fantastic Ireland under 20 records at 15, at the mile, at 3k and 5k, what is your preferred distance?
I don't know, like, I have to get into it, and like when you're on your own, but
I think 17.
Yeah, hopefully that's achievable. In the future. Obviously, Andrew set an unbelievable Irish record. And for me, I still say probably the 3k, but it's just because I feel like it's like that nostalgia of winning Europeans, and I just like the event. But I can't do that in the senior championships. Obviously, it's either 1500 or 5k. But yeah, hopefully in the future I can get close to that unbelievable 1500 metre record that Andy set there just a few weeks ago.
Well, Nick, let me tell you, do you have unfinished business on the European cross country?
Oh, definitely. That's a big one for this year, is going back there and redeeming what I missed out on last year. Obviously, I got the silver, but in heartbreaking circumstances. So, yeah, that's definitely one of the ones for the cross country season. I feel like I've got unfinished business, and it's my last under 20 year, so it'll be my last junior European cross. So yeah, I'm going to go out there, and that's a wee bit long away. I don't want to focus on cross right now, but once the summer ends, then yeah, that'll be the main focus of the winter. Yeah.
Nick, I just want to say how privileged we are to see you running tonight, how proud we all are of you, and we're so pleased for you. Many thanks for coming. Congratulations, Northern Ireland champion.
Thank you very much, and congratulations on an unbelievable event. There's so many people out, and it's just great to see people of all abilities, like the sub 23 race, 21, under sub 17 race like that in the end. So it's so good to get such a range of people out here running over our champs. Yeah. Fantastic.
Nick Griggs, we'll see you on the podium. Congratulations. That is our superstar, Nick Griggs. Let's have a word with there's a photograph of our, yes, let's get the winner in the middle, guys. There's our 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. Callum, can we have a wee word with you here, young man? Congratulations on your silver medal. Whenever you saw the starting lineup, was silver as good as it was going to get for you, Callum?
I think so, yeah. As much as tried to play it in my head, that I was trying to wind Nick up all week, trying to get in his head, but yeah, I knew I was here for silver. I could have probably just stayed and sat in the pack and tried to go for a kick, but that's not the way I wanted to run it. I wanted to test myself, and I went with it and just couldn't hang on. So, but happy enough.
Callum, what was your time, and was it a PB for you tonight?
It was 14:30, not a PB. I think that's probably second fast time on the roads. But I did Armagh, but it's obviously such a high quality race, and ran a bit quicker at it. But yeah, I'm still happy enough with how it went.
Now, the temperature tonight, Callum, is probably about 3 degrees. Is that good? Is it too cold? What was it like out there?
I think it was all right. I could feel it in my chest a bit, but I wouldn't say it was too cold. I know I had the layers on till the final, till just before I was about to start, so it was warm enough. But once you get moving, you don't need any more layers. Like, you're warm enough going at that pace. Like, so, no, it was fine.
Callum, let me ask you, as a top class athlete, do you spend tomorrow in bed on the sofa watching the rugby? Are you out doing a gentle jog? What's the training over the weekend?
I think the plan is do 60 minutes easy tomorrow, just nice and light, slow as I want, and then back to Sunday long run. I've tapered a lot this week, so it's been a good week to cut down, then back to work towards track season on Monday.
And what are your ambitions for the rest of the year, young man?
So track season, there's European under 23s this year. Obviously I'm only 19, be a big ask to make, but yeah, ultimately that's the aim, to make them.
Callum, congratulations tonight. See you on the podium.
Thank you, thank you.
Let's have a word with third place here. Tony, can we have a word with you, young man? You're from St Malachy's, a very proud track club.
Yeah, quite established in the running scene in North Belfast and Ireland, so yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Tony, tell me about the buzz tonight on the start line. Couple of hundred guys, super fast 5k runners. What was the mood on the start line?
I wasn't quite expecting to start the wee slight downhill. It went out pretty quick. It was a bit of a shock, but no, it's a great course. Nice and it's quite fast. So
And where did you get third place? Were you in third the whole way along, or did you sneak up on the rails coming towards the end?
I was on a wee pack just off the two of Callum and Nick's training partners at the start, and then I said, "This is a bit of me. I'll go for it. May as well." Caught up the third. Tried to make a move like a lap or so to go because I knew your man Kieran's quite a good finish on him, so yeah, I just tried to go and then didn't quite have the legs there the last 200 or 300 metres.
Well, Tony, congratulations, you got 100 quid for third place. Got to be happy with that.
Yeah, that was great, thank you. Paid for the fuel up here. So.
Good man, see you in the podium, Tony.
Yeah, thank you.
Folks, that is our 3-2-1, and we'll come back to you whenever we have our podium. And I'm quite sure Ryan Galway will have an opportunity of speaking with Ryan, our fantastic hard-working race organiser who has corralled the best athletes in Ulster here. And everyone has been shepherded away from the finish line because the danger is with the championship that they will. Let's go over and talk to a Springwell athlete here, Peter, while we are waiting. Let me talk here to this young man here who's just finished. Hello, young man. Stephen, how are you?
Good now it's over.
Tell me, good now it's over. Tell me about how proud it was to be wearing a Springwell shirt in a race organised by your colleague Ryan Galway.
Oh, brilliant! It's brilliant to see an event like this come to Coleraine, like especially here. Like, it's been a brilliant night for it. You've seen the quality of runners are here at the front. I didn't get to see them because I was half a lap behind the most of them. But no, it's brilliant to see an event like this in the town, and hopefully that sets the standard now as well.
Absolutely, because
it's good to hopefully we see a few more up this end of the country now as well.
Absolutely. I think civilization does exist beyond Belfast, apparently. I'm told that.
Plenty of them travel down tonight, and I'm sure they've all enjoyed the experience here. Good course for it, good for times, good for racing, so
absolutely.
We'll be back next year.
Stephen, are there any park runs here which are any good whatsoever?
Well, there's a nice one on Port Rush there, just up a few miles up the road. Nice beach, nice scenic one. Lamavary, close by too, Blackburn Path. Nice wee looped one as well for people to do. So
and there's also the Garva. There's also
nice forest runs. You're spoilt for choice in this neck of it.
Stephen, listen, well done tonight.
Thanks.
And we will see you again as we are getting ready here. And this is the wonderful post-race buzz that every runner gets. They are no longer nervous. All the hard work has been done, and we've got so many different clubs represented here. A lot have come from Belfast and County Down and all over the show. And we've got that new club Tafilda, we've got that club called Keeper Lit, everybody with their goodie bag as well. Fantastic to see. Let's go around here and we will go in here and see who we can talk to. Famous Annandale Striders, one of the most famous clubs in the country. Annandale Striders are behind the Joe Seeley 10K on the Ormeau embankment at the end of November or start of December every year. It usually changes. I was talking to John McLaughlin from the Annandale Striders at the Joe Seeley back in December, this little wizened old man, and I said to him, John, how many times did you win this race? Twice. What was your PB? 29 minutes and 11 seconds, which was 40 seconds quicker than the winner in 2022, and that was with fairly crap running shoes, let's put it that way, and without any great advanced training. John McLaughlin, hard as nails all the way through. There is our goodie bag, and our athletes are taking home some nice milk with them. There is a Spartan there. I wonder, is he doing the Walled City 10 miler tomorrow morning? We found him. We have managed to find our race director, and we are going to have a word with Ryan very shortly as is that Beachmount Striders. Ryan, I wonder, could we now get you, Ryan?
Yes, for a minute, yeah.
The hard-working race organiser. First of all, Ryan Galway, congratulations on organising a top-class race.
Thanks very much, yeah. Good night for it. Couldn't have asked for better weather after the weather we've had this week. And, yeah, great racing. Really good racing.
So, Ryan, all the year's hard work has come down to tonight.
Yeah.
And the weather gods were against us during the week. And last night, I'm sure you didn't probably sleep too much, but you posted a video today saying, look, this is ice-free.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was getting messages flat out yesterday and this morning asking if it was going to be on, and we came down early this morning. There was a bit of ice in the course, but very little, and it was well gridded already. So we knew by about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock it would be gone, and to be honest, there wasn't an issue at all tonight. So just glad thanks to everybody who travelled. Like, I mean, there was good fields there considering. Someone's calling me. So yeah, no, pleased with how it went and couldn't have asked for better, really, to be honest.
No, absolutely. It's the first time. I know you've organised this race before, Ryan. First time we've had the Prestige Championships.
Yes, 100%, and great to have it in Coleraine for the first time as well. Obviously, we've had the senior cross country here, but to have a road championship for the first time in Coleraine means a lot. And no, it's been a fantastic night. So yeah.
And Ryan, what about sponsors? Because we certainly can't organise a race without sponsors these days.
100%. I mean, my mantra with this is all about getting local business involved, and I can't argue with how much support we've had from local sponsors. Obviously, a big mention the Roadside Garage is a main sponsor, Malin Solicitors and secondary sponsor. So no, we're very, very thankful for them, and we couldn't have done the race without them. So
Ryan, you're a runner yourself, and have you any energy left to go and run at the weekend somewhere in a park run, maybe?
Long run tomorrow morning. Yeah, 18 miles.
Yeah, you must be training for a marathon, Ryan.
That's the plan, yeah, that's the plan. Hoping that it's stay injury-free, potentially.
Well, Ryan, wasn't it fantastic to have a superstar like Nick Griggs with us here tonight? We're in at the start of his career, and you must feel very honoured that we've got Nick here, and we're going to be reading about him in the back pages, and he's a real superstar, and he conducts himself very well.
100%. He's a gentleman and really good for the sport. Very humble and just gets about his business. Doesn't make a fuss. So no, really good to have him here. Good to have his training partner Callum here as well. And Mark Kirk will be a happy man tonight, having the top 3 medals going to his coaching group tonight. So he'll be happy.
Well, Ryan,
better shoot on.
Ryan, I'm just going to say very lastly, first of all, thank you very much, but you're going to have to look down the back of the sofa to find another 150 quid because the course record went.
Yes, the one course record went, one didn't. So I'll save myself 150.
Rebecca didn't quite manage to get the course record, but certainly Nick Grigg did. Okay, folks, we're going to come back to you live in about 5 minutes' time from the podium. Thanks for watching. Well done, young man. Enjoy. Seamus, can we have a wee word with you? We are going to be. Are we good? Are we good, Pete? Yeah, we're good. Okay, Seamus, we are live.
That's good.
On the it's always every day I wake up, Seamus. I'm alive.
It's good to be alive.
It's a bonus.
Tell me about it, man. Tell me
Seamus,
about it.
I hear you're a sub 4 minute miler. Tell me about that day.
Now, you obviously don't know that I can go on at length about everything. You know what I mean?
Listen,
So
Seamus,
you want the day, actual day, or
Seamus,
actual
we've
race?
actually got 6 minutes to fill before we go to the podium. So,
well, I can tell you, it's back then.
Tell me, where was it? When was it?
Cork City Sports. I think it was 1987 or 1988. And back then there was a couple of good runners. There was a guy, I think Steve Ovett was in the race. So you go down to these races, the way it operates, and I think it still goes on nowadays, you don't know if you're in the top race. So you go down and you're told back then Cork City Sports had the top mile and then it had a B mile, but the B mile itself was good. So even up until that stage, I went down and I'd run the B mile beforehand. The previous year, I'd done pretty well on it. Me and a guy called Frank Conway had raced it in for first and second. I think we'd done about 4.2 or 4.5, so we were pretty good.
So at the minute, Seamus McCann has never broken 4 minutes for the mile.
No.
And does he have a little thing in his head thinking, I can do this?
Previous to that, there I'd run a 7:52 3000, so I was of the opinion I could do it. So I contacted the organisers and said, if you look at the workings out, one would assume if you run 7:52, you can run a sub 4 minute mile. But even then, they always hold off because they want bigger and better runs.
Seamus who?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was like. Seamus who? You run 7:52. When did you do that there? Sure, we're not too sure. So I didn't know now what happens is they invite you down, you go down, you stay in a hotel or a guest house, whatever. We stayed in a guest house and I wasn't too sure I was in the top race beforehand. Now it said there was a likelihood of it, and then about 2 hours out they said, listen, whoever we hoped would turn up didn't hope up, so we're going to have to settle for you. We're going to have to settle.
Thanks,
for you.
pal.
Yeah. So they settled for me. I ran the race. I was running around the race. I lined up. There was a lot of good guys in the race, and I knew even if I came last or second last, I could still break the sub 4 minute mile.
So obviously you've got a wristwatch on, have you, or are you looking at the scoreboard? You're looking at the timer. But so you're conscious every 400 metres. I'm looking at this.
Yes, you are. Yeah, and I basically ran them through in 60. I basically ran through 60-second splits. Yeah. So I got up. Now, bearing in mind, I heard you saying earlier on in the YouTube about that 1,609 metres. So obviously I knew with a lap to go, I must have been through 2:59. So 2:59 or 3 minutes. So I knew if I ran the last lap, you can hear I had no kick, and that was right. I had no kick, but I knew if I ran the last lap in something similar to what I'd done previously, as in kept it going in 60 seconds, I could run sub 4 minute mile. So I ran across, got across the line, and I didn't know.
Seamus, hold on, before that, are you hanging onto the back of somebody here?
Hanging on the back.
Are you running out of...
I'm out the back. These boys are running. These boys, I think, ran something like 3:53. You have to bear in mind, Cork City Sports was a big meet. Yeah. So there's a lot of good guys in it. Yeah. And like some guy like me is off the back of the field. Like, I wasn't going to be competitive. Plus, you have to bear in mind, I was pretty young at the time, so I knew I wasn't going to be competitive, but my objective was to run sub 4. And ran across the line. At that stage, the clock had stopped at who'd ever won it. So I could see it was something like whatever it was, 3:53, 3:52. So I didn't know if I did it. But I was very friendly with a guy called Peter Sinclair, who was down running the 400 metres, and he was a 400 international. And he had obviously clocked me. And he had said, Seamus, I'm sure you got it. And he says, we were clocking you down the back straight, and we thought you'd got it. So I didn't know. I was down, there was our boy Phil Snolly, who was a sprinter as well. And he was down, and he was saying, yeah, I think you did it as well. So it was based on these sprinters. So I relied on sprinters telling me if it was...
How long were you in that agony and ecstasy for?
I don't think it was that long. I think it was maybe half an hour. See, nowadays, the way they got it immediate, it wasn't like that back then. It was a bit... things were just, this was a long time ago.
Seamus, you've been dining out on it quite rightly ever since. A sub 4 minute mile.
But you know what? That's exactly right, because I asked, could you get this milk? And someone says, well, I'm not too sure we'll give it to you. And then they says, but did you run a sub 4 minute mile? Here you are, some milk, because you need it. You look tired. You look a tired old man. So I don't know if it's a sub 4
Seamus,
or the fact that I looked a tired old man that they give me milk.
Seamus, there's nothing tired about you at all. As a sub 4 minute miler, how good is this kid?
Brilliant. Outstanding. Like, he ran all that there bands. He hit it hard from the start. He looked good. Callum went with him, which was good. So he had someone to run with him from the start. But you could tell he was on a mission. And I'd say it's just a cold night. It's not conducive. He could run. We all know he can run faster. There he is, sir. Have you interviewed him? You want to get him interviewed? Well, he's brilliant. He's the future. He is the
future.
And
you and I, Seamus, we're the past. But he is the future.
He's a bright new future, because in my opinion, of all the guys, bearing in mind that I'm relatively old now, so I've seen a lot of guys run it. None of them have been as good as him. But he's young. We'll see what happens. But he's a good runner. He's very good. I was talking with
Eamon Coughlin,
that's right,
Frank O'Sullivan, all those those guys, sub 4 on the boards, indoor and out. Is this kid in the same company?
At the moment, he's very, very good. And obviously he's in good hands, and Mark Kirk looking after him. And all he has to do is just be sensible. And it's hard to be sensible and just hope things don't. He could be injured, and hopefully none of that will happen. But he's in good company who will look after him. And all he has to do is keep a sensible head and listen to the wise people around him. Well, I'm saying this about Kirky. Kirky hears me saying that there, he won't believe what I'm saying.
Mark Kirk, who is a sub 4 minute miler himself.
Yes, as well.
Seamus McCann from 1 sub 4 minute miler to an 8 minute miler. Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. Thank you very much. He's much being desperate.
Now, we are still live, Seamus.
Oh, you're still live.
We are still live, and we are going to try and now find where the podium is. Have we any idea where that is, Pete? Oh, look, we've got a goodie bag to take home with us. Oh, goodie. A goodie. That's how good goodie bags are. They're all good. There's Glenn Grant working the results out over there. I think we're going to do a 3-2-1, both in the, obviously the women's race and the men's race. And we'll be able to call our people up onto the podium at that stage. There is Ryan. If Ryan is down there, let's go and ask him. Good evening. How are we doing? Good evening, Aaron. Ryan, are we close to a podium? Are we close to a prize giving?
Prize giving in about 5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay.
Up at the sports hall.
Up at the sports hall. Well, folks, I hope that has inspired you this evening to get out, open the back door, and get on your running shoes and get out there and just show what can be done. Because we've had a fantastic example of front running tonight from Nick Griggs. We've had a fantastic example from Rebecca Osborne of hanging on in there, not looking behind her, nearly being caught on the finish line by Kira, but still managing to get the job done. And running is free, folks. You don't need to pay any golf course fees. You don't need to buy an expensive carbon bike at £4,000. You get a pair of gutties and you go out the back door. You don't need to buy these big new carbon boosted shoes costing a couple of £100. Now this impresses me. Here's runners having a little bit of a warm down, and that will help their recovery. Sometimes some athletes go for ice baths. Sometimes they go for a bit of heat. I always prefer the heat in the sauna, I must confess. But here's a couple of athletes in front of us who obviously are carrying the goodie bags. Let's go and have a wee chat with them, Peter. Girls, can we talk to you here? We are live on YouTube. Let's just keep walking along here and talk to me. Where are we from, girls?
Coleraine.
Coleraine, yes, both of you?
Yes.
And were we pleased with our times tonight?
PB, yeah.
PB, what did you get?
30:56, I think.
Get out of here. And yourself?
30 minutes, 2 seconds.
So if someone was to tell you 29 minutes and 59 seconds, that's what you want. Isn't that right? You want to break 30. You want to break 30 next time. Next time. That's the wonderful thing about running. We have PBs, we have season bests, and every year we get older, we reset the clock. We go back to zero. Have a check out, folks, of the Northern Ireland Athletic Federation calendar. Lots of sanctioned, insured, well organised and accurate races. Whether it is on the track at Mary Peters, or whether it's the Belfast Marathon, which this week has been recognised as one of the world's leading marathon races. It's part of a series, and they've been given the gold star and the blue ribbon in respect of their status, which is fantastic. Quite a few runners do the Belfast Marathon at the May Day bank holiday, and then they do the Dublin Marathon later in the year. I've done that a couple of times. You've got 6 months in between, 6 months to tweak, 6 months to get better, as these runners are continuing to warm down, and they're not probably going to trouble the podium. But quite a few of these runners here tonight are going to be doing the Wall City 10 miler tomorrow, organised by Noel McMonigal and the hard-working crew up there. We start in Ebrington Square. Before, after about 5 miles, we have to run over the new bridge. It's only been there 40 years, but we still call it the new bridge. Our thanks to our hard-working paramedics this evening, and great to have them here. Hopefully they didn't have to do too much. I think it's the St John's that are out tonight looking after us. Now, Peter, where is our podium? Yeah, if it's in the sports centre, it's going to be up there. I hope it's inside. Do you think they would allow us inside into a little bit of heat, perhaps? There, and we'll get a cup of tea, and we'll have an opportunity of saying well done to our runners. And this is part of the new sports complex here at the University of Ulster, of which Anne Paul is proudly in charge. And this helps attract students to the campus, helps attract them to the university. You've got to have a USP, And one of the USPs of Coleraine, other than living beside the wonderful North Coast, is the fact that it's got a fantastic sports centre, nearly as good as the one in Bath, nearly as good as the one in Loughborough. Don't let Anne Paul hear me say that. She'll probably think it's better than either of those two facilities. And you've got to compete with Queen's, so you've got to be top class. And that's exactly what this is here. A couple of food trucks out, giving our runners an opportunity of getting a few carbs. Oh, good, we're in the sports hall. And that's where we want to be. These guys will be looking forward to getting home. Quite a few of them have come a long way. And let's see our atmosphere in here. Quite a few gathering there. There's our mayor over there. There's Mags from Northern Ireland Athletic Federation. And I think it could be a couple of minutes before we have any podiums, so we may well come back to you, or at the very least what we can do is record it. There is an award-winning photographer over there, Jimmy Hislop. There's the president. Let's have a wee word with Kenny Bacon here, actually, from the Springwell Club. Kenny Bacon, good evening, president of the Springwell Running Club, and Maggie from Northern Ireland Athletics Federation. Kenny, can I ask you your thoughts on this fantastic championship race been here, organised by your colleague Ryan Galway?
It was great to see it in Coleraine. It's a good fast course, and the only race I was doing registration, so the only race I saw was the last one. Yeah. And I blinked and I missed some of them. They were going that fast.
Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. I can only dream of that, Peter.
If I was on a bike, I couldn't go that fast. But you'll be in Portrush tomorrow morning doing your park run as ever?
I don't know yet. I might volunteer. It's high tide, Peter, and
that'll be so sad. Maggie, you've seen a lot of races in your time with Northern Ireland Athletic Federation. What about tonight's standard in both the women and the men's races?
Absolutely fantastic. That last race was just unbelievable, amazing, very quick, very quick.
What about in the women's race? Rebecca Osborne was off the front. Bit harder to see because surrounded by a couple of men, but there wasn't much in it at the end on the finish line.
It was very close at the finish, yes, but Rebecca just pipped it.
Yeah, fantastic. So is that you finished for the weekend, Maggie, or are you other races tomorrow? Where are you tomorrow?
Oh, I'm nowhere tomorrow, but on Sunday I'll be at Jimmy's in Downpatrick. Jimmy's 10K. Downpatrick. Yes.
Fantastic. Well, listen, thank you very much for NIAF. Thank you very much, Kenny, as president of Springwell Running Club, for being the proud sponsor of this race. And as our athletes are coming in, that is our second place finisher. That is the young man who won the 3K in Armagh. I think let's go and have a word with Joe. Come here, young man. Can I talk to you? Were running tonight.
Yeah.
And did you also do very well in Armagh?
Yeah, in the
3K.
In the 3K, yeah.
And did you win that by any chance?
I did, yeah.
What's your name?
Louis Mallon.
Louis Mallon, good to have you here, Louis.
Thank you, yeah.
What about stepping up from 3K to 5K? How did you find that big jump tonight?
Yeah, whenever I hit the 3K marker, I noticed it. It was quite painful, and maybe a wee bit more strength needed to bring that 5K time down, but I'm decently happy with it. Yeah, it's a big PB, so I can never complain with that.
Fantastic. And tell me about these young superstars who were just ahead of you tonight. That they are a class company, Louis.
Nick and Callum. Oh yeah, they're like paving the way for Northern Irish athletics and all, and like it's good to see that that's like the potential you can have, because there's not many from Northern. Well, there's a few like Keir McGain and all, obviously, but it's good to see some like young people bringing the sport forward. So.
But it's great, Louis, that we often look up to the Kenyan athletes and maybe have to be wearing our British vest. Or these guys are local. You know them.
That's brilliant. Like, you see them done at the track training on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and they're really great guys. So they're great, like inspiration and all that. Yeah.
Well, Louis, what are your ambitions? I mean, is this pastime? Is this important to you?
No, this is important to me. This is something that I want to do professionally, hopefully at some stage. But I'm taking it very seriously, and I'm always working to get better. So it's definitely not just a hobby.
And Louis, that would mean sleep, food, train, prepare, rest. It's the full package. You just can't turn up on a Friday night.
Oh, 100%. If you're just looking to do your sessions and then just doss about for the rest of it, it's as you said, everything's important. It's a lifestyle. You need to be fully committed to it or not committed at all.
Brilliant. Well, Louis, listen, well done tonight.
Thank you very much.
You're an illustrious company, and we'll see you on the podium soon, okay?
Thank you very much.
Well done. That is young Louis there, who won the 3K in Armagh and who starred there tonight as well. So looking around us here, we have got Catherine Jane and Gary Pinkerton over there, who are part of the Springville Club, and they are part of our Couch to 5K Row Runners group, which is great to see. And these athletes, and there's Rebecca over there. Should we go and have another wee word with Rebecca? Come on, we'll go and do that. Before we call her up onto the podium. Rebecca, come on and talk to us here before we get up on the podium. Now, Rebecca, have you got really cold since this race finished, or have you warmed up any?
Warmed up a wee bit, yeah. Got a good cool down in with Hal and Laverty, so yeah, warmed up again. So.
Well, Rebecca, whenever most of us finish a run, we want to lie down, but you went out for a run after you finished your 5K.
I lie down and then a wee jog. So yeah, had a wee lie down after the race, got my breath back and got a cool down.
Well, you now have a chance to reflect on your race, Rebecca. Yeah. And you didn't win it by much.
No.
So are there lessons to learn in every race?
Well, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I feel really blessed to just be able to go out and give my best today. I went off a bit hard, but you know, it was ambitious. Didn't realise how hard it actually was, but I still I managed to hold on for the win, so I'm more than happy with that. So
happy with your time, happy with the win, and you're building towards what? I mean, is this the start of a season for you, or?
Yeah, building towards the track season. So hoping to do Queens in 2 weeks, do the North Belfast Harriers meet on the track, and then just work down towards 15, do a few 800s, work on the speed a bit. So it's all about the track.
Is 5K that the top end of your range, Rebecca? That's the same as Nick, actually. Yeah. And if your favourite race would be 15, maybe?
15 at the moment, yeah. So I just want to keep chipping down my 1500 metre time. So. Well,
talking to 1500 metre runners, and we think of the great Ciara McGeehan.
Yes.
I saw her in Commonwealth in Birmingham, and she wasn't competing in Istanbul. I don't know whether it was a deliberate decision, maybe, but she's an inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Ciara's been an inspiration for me since a very young age. The Ulster Star Awards, I would have chatting to Ciara, and she would have always, given me words of encouragement. So it's brilliant to see how far she's got in her career, and as you say, an inspiration.
Fantastic. Well, listen, Rebecca, I think they're going to call you up very shortly for the podium, so get your speech ready. Well done, Rebecca Osborne, the winner of our ladies' race. And we have a fantastic athletic pedigree and legacy here. It's been my pleasure to have met Mary Peters. We maybe want to go in closer, Peter, and listen to Ryan here, our race director. Over to Ryan.